You will frequently want to get a freeze frame from a clip in your sequence or a clip in your project panel, and then use that freeze frame in your project. I'm going to show you how to create a freeze frame in Premiere Pro. I'm going to show you a couple of ways to use freeze frames in this lesson. So go to Working Files, open up Projects, and then double-click on Still Frame 0704. We have the sequence already set up with 3 shots on it, 3 shots of the Matterhorn, the lovely mountain in the Swiss Alps. There you go. Lovely, maybe it's the wrong term. Maybe it's dramatic. In any event, what I want to do here is I want to get a still frame of the last frame, the last shot here, and use that as a close. I can then fade out on that still image, kind of a gradual close to this piece. So I want to get a still frame of this last shot. So first of all, I need to get to really what is the last frame. A couple ways to do that. I can press the End key, and that goes to 1 frame after the last frame of the last clip. To get that, we're 1 frame past that last frame of the last clip. If I press the left arrow key, there is the last frame of that last clip. I can also navigate there using the arrow keys. If I were over here, for example, if I go up, that takes me toward the beginning, and down takes me to the next edit point. So I go down to the last edit point and then back up 1 frame. And there we are, the last frame. There are a couple of ways to get still frames. There's the sort of complicated way and the kind of easy way. And so obviously we're going to want to shoot for the kind of easy way, but let me show you the sort of complicated way. I need to have the sequence active, and you can tell it's active because it's got this little orange border around it. If I click away from it, it's no longer active, and you won't be able to export a still frame there because it's not active. So let's go back and make it active. Now I go over to File, Export, Exporting Media. It opens up the Export Settings dialog box. And inside the Format drop-down list, there are several still frame or still image formats, including BMP and GIF, and we got Ping, Target, TIFF. So we could select one of these still image formats and go this way, but this is kind of complicated, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to cancel out of that. The easy way is to use this little icon right there, the Export Frame icon. And if you've gotten rid of all these buttons, it's Control-Shift-E in Windows, Command-Shift-E in Mac. It's the Export Frame button. I click on that, it opens up the Export Frame dialog box. Need to give it a name, so I'm going to call it Matterhorn Close, like that. I want to give it a format, basically the same format you saw moments ago inside the Export Settings dialog box. I like TIFF. It's a high-resolution format, so I'm going to select TIFF. Need to find a location. Location obviously is our desktop. We want to go to My Premiere Pro Exercise Files, so I select that and click Select Folder. And now we click OK. And we're done. Simple as that, painless. But it doesn't show up inside our project panel. We need to go get it. So I'm going to double-click in an empty space here to open up the Import dialog box. And here we are importing at the My Premiere Pro Exercise Files folder. And there is our little image, the still frame we just grabbed. I'm going to select that and click Open. And now I'm going to drag it to the end of our sequence, adding that still frame there. And if I go from that last little frame to that still frame, it's going to look like nothing happened. It's going to go so smoothly. Here we go. And boom. Smooth as silk. Only obvious difference is that there's no sound there, which you could fix, by the way. You can always put a little sound there if you want to. Nevertheless, that's how it works. And what we would do now typically is fade it out, kind of dissolve it out. I'm going to give you a little preview about using effects here, using transitions and effects. I'll go over to the effects panel, click on video transitions, click on the dissolve disclosure triangle, go down here and drag cross dissolve to the end there, and then that guy will fade out like this. There we go. Pretty slick. That's one use for a still frame. Another use is to use it elsewhere in the project, perhaps not full screen, or use it inside a title, and that's what I want to do now. So I created a title for this project. I'm going to go back to the project panel. Over here, you can scroll down and see that we've got opening title there. If I double click on it, it opens up the titler panel, or just the titler. Let me move it around a little bit here. And this background is not part of the title. It's just showing through to that. If I turn that off, this is what the title really looks like, which is kind of nice, I think. I used a template for this, so you too can make this thing. It's fairly simple to make. I'm going to close this down now. What I want to do is add a couple of images to that title. So let me first drag it to the sequence. Take the title here and drag it to the beginning of the sequence. If I let go now, it's just going to be an overwrite. Not really going to be very effective there. It's going to cover up what was there before. I don't want to do that. So I want to do a ripple edit. So I drag it over to the beginning, hold down the controller command key, and boom, we make a ripple edit there. There it is. I want to put a couple of still images here. So I'm going to show you how to make still images again. And I'm going to give you kind of a preview of working with the motion effect to show you how this works. So let's go over here a little ways and find something to use. Let's say this shot here where it gets kind of bright. Let's see, where's that little spot there? Right there, where it gets kind of bright. I like that. That looks pretty cool. So let's just get a still frame of that by clicking on this little icon here. Here we go. I'm going to call this one Matterhorn Title 1. And it's already set up to go to the exercise files folder, already set up as a TIFF, so I click OK. I want to grab a title off this guy. We've seen it already, but I want to grab it right there, let's say. But this time I'm going to get it from the source monitor. So this is Scenic 9. Open up the source monitor by double-clicking it. There it is. I want to get it right there, right at the beginning. So here, this one has a camera too. We can export a frame from the source monitor or from the program monitor. So click on this guy. I'm going to call this one Matterhorn Title 2 and click OK. Now we need to import those two clips, so those two still images. Double click an empty space here to open up the import dialog box. We've got Title 1, Title 2, so I'm going to click on one and Controller Command click on the other one and click Open. Now I'm going to bring those guys in. I'm going to put them above the title, which is, again, we're going to talk about compositing later, but here's kind of an introduction to compositing. Put one there above it. I want to put one more above that, so I need to scroll this down a little ways to make some room. Take the second one and put it above that. Now we're going to show you a little bit of motion magic here. I'm going to click on this first one, go to Effect Controls, open up the motion here, and change the scale. Like that. Click on the second one, click on Motion, change the scale for that one as well, like so. I can take it and move this guy over here like so. Take this one over here and move it over like that. I think you get the drift here. Got those two guys. And we can now then show that title before we go to the opening scene. There we go, like that. And obviously I could put in some dissolves or some other effects there too, but I do want to just give you a sense that there are other uses for still frames besides just closing off a piece with a little still frame dissolve. You can also put them inside titles. So that's how you can create still frames inside Premiere Pro and then use those guys.